Okay, Chapter 4 Training Day. Seth, accompanied by Salvanos and Belgia, began to train her under the Paladin Order's teachings. They watched as she would tumble down from the balance pistols. She would slip off the speed course into the still water set below. She did well at flexibility. That was a plus. She didn't even try the strength test. Accuracy was grand, yet she had never used a weapon. She wasn't ready for any major opponent, let alone a minor goblin. She isn't ready, Seth argued with them. You weren't ready and you were 10? Savnos disagreed. But look at you now. While you two continue to bicker, Belger spoke. Oh God. I will continue her training. I am listening to a retired paladin who shouldn't even be here as we speak. I have all the rights to be here. My home was taken by those blasted heretics, and now they are coming overseas to corrupt the White Flame as we speak. Belgier her walked out as the two bickered, heard on and on, with no specific subject. Liz was sitting down in the tent with Berger. Belgier entered and pulled Liz up to the course. You will not become a paladin, Belgier told her. What are you doing? Liz wondered. What my master told me to do. Belgier drew his sword and lifted it above her head. Back, demon! Seth threw the second blade of Bala at Belgier's leg. You'll not take another life this day, Salvanos shouted. Belgier turned towards the two. Arrows flew into the shoulders, pushing him into the side of the tree. An elf with a blondish tint to her hair had her bow pointed at him, released his of all arrows. Liz ran to Seth's side. We found out about your plans, heretic. Seth pointed his blade at him. You think you can stop progress? Belgier proudly replied. What progress? The darkness is coming upon this land. All those in it will fall before my master's will. Be gone, demon, the elf answered his statement with arrows. Belgier cut the arrows into pieces as they approached him. Salvanos charged with his sword held high. The two battled for their lives. Seth joined in with his blade. Even though Belgier was outnumbered, he wasn't outmatched. The two struggled, trying to bring him down. He pushed all the way with his blade. First you will die, Seth, and then that petty old man. Belgier lifted his blade, heat up into the air, ready for it to release a cold metal demise upon the paladin. He stopped moving and fell forwards, dropping his blade next to Seth. Liz was standing behind the fallen corpse. Belgier lay on the ground, slain from the one he tried to train. Seth felt pity for the paladin. Now he had to train another. Great, Seth blurted. Now I have to train yet another to replace him. I could be of assistance to you, the elf bluntly said. You're an elf. You are an elf, not an Imperial. Find something wrong with my race. Just because I am an elf doesn't mean you have any right to discriminate my race. I have nothing against your race. I say that they don't have as great of swordsmen as we do. Of all the brick-headed Imperials, I get stuck with a smart aleck. I bet that I could beat you. No, not beat you. No, not bet. I know I can beat you. Without another word, he took off his armor and placed it next to Berger. Berger and Liz walked to the elf side of the field. Salvanos stood behind Seth. Seth tried his best to hit her, but about the elves being so agile and precise. She just kept moving back and aside until she tipped him into the agility course water. She rolled her eyes as he got back up with a wet leather tunic. Seph tried and tried to hit her, but she kept training him along into the courses and let him fall off. She finally grew tired of it and kicked him in the side. He'd off the balance pedestal. Had enough, she said with a smug grin on her face. He let his head fall to the ground and sleep. Salvanos lifted Seph back up and carried him to a seat next to who was his tent. The days passed, and Liz kept getting better and better at the courses. Soon days turned to months, and months to years, until one day she stood perfectly. He balanced, ran past the speed course, and slowly knocked down the training dummies. I'm ready, she finally said, at age 18. Salvanos walked up with a practiced blade. She merely had to hit them once and avoid getting hit. Salvanos swung the blade at her. She ducked and hit his chest with the small blade. The elf whose name was later found as Harla. She tried to stay out of her range and soon slid under her blade to the other side and hit her back with the blade. Seph walked up with a sword of Bala in his hand. He threw one to her. She slowly but surely advanced with Seph. Soon the room lit up with sparks coming from both blades. You have improved, but can you beat me? He admired her. She didn't say a word. Instead, she continued her onslaught. The blades soon set the grass around them ablaze. The two didn't focus on that. Soon they broke free of the flame onto the course. The two continued the battle on it. Seph tried his best to knock her off the pedestal. She continued to follow him. The two realized that this was a battle for their lives. The course was left in shambles in their wake. The two continued fighting throughout the camp until Seph made one mistake. He tripped over the roots of a tree. She hit his shoulder pad and became paladin. Later that night, I did it! She screamed in glee. You did, Seph replied. I can't believe it. It seemed easier when I did my first initiation. She ignored him and continued. I am finally a paladin. Keep in mind that I won't be there with you forever. I will have to leave you for my missions, and you for yours. She stopped talking and turned her to him crying. She grabbed hold of his arm. I don't want to leave you. I know. Morning came, and they had chosen to ride off back to the port city. Berger climbed onto his pony while the others got onto their horses. They rode off towards the white flame up of the massive hill. Took you 3 years to become a paladin, Salvanos joked. What's that supposed to mean? She rebuked. Oh, nothing. I'm just saying that it was a lot shorter when Seph tried to become a paladin. Coming from an old man, that really means nothing. What happened? The city ablaze with a fight between the men and of the Imperial army and heretics, with all the leaders set in motion towards the gate. That is the end of chapter 4. Next, in a few moments from now, I will upload chapter 5, the end. So, yes, I almost came to a tear, but oh well. See you all later.